And hello, welcome to solo playthroughs. We're gonna probably get our butt kicked today by the Crooked Mask in a game of Aeon's End, but it's gonna be fun trying, I think. So let's do it. Yeah, I'm not fully randomizing my mage. I've done 3 mages so far. Brahma, Mist, and Lash were not exactly packing the punch that I thought I was gonna need for this fun matchup with this very special sort of jerk. And he's nameless, but whatever. He's got a name. Why do the nameless have names? That's what drives me bananas. So I guess these are just what we call them, but they're still nameless. I don't know. That's fine. The Crooked Mask, otherwise known as one of the nameless, he's hard. He's really, 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 really hard. And I think this is one of those that as I get deeper into this game and I start doing multi-mage playthroughs and stuff on my own, maybe I'll get a couple on camera down the road. This would probably be one where you would want to consider getting a second hand in there to try to give yourself a chance against this big jerk. So a lot of interesting mechanics. He basically just twists what you're doing, and he does a lot of things to punish you, and they give you benefits, but they still punish you more than they give you benefits, and the whole thing is crazy. So let's get to story time with Greg, the Crooked Mask. The elders say there is a god for every aspect of existence, every creature, every force. If this is true, then the Crooked Mask's domain is that of corruption, for the weapon he wields is brought by temptation. How do we slay a god, especially one with such a dark influence over the weaker survivors among us? When we have endured on so little for so long, how do we hold back when what we need most seems to be offered so freely? Many in Gravehold murmur that behind its grim visage lies a cruel and desolate grin. There is a noise it makes, a sort of laugh one can hear just under the bells and the screams. So I guess it's the whole idea is that you're getting a benefit because he's corrupting you. That you're basically giving into his temptation. You're like, oh, I'll take that thing, and then it's like, bam! Before you know it, you're punched in the face, and you Gravehold is really suffering as a result. So to come up against him, I mean, I haven't actually beaten him yet. I beat him with my wife once. But solo, it's been a lot of struggle. Got a couple of nice rhythms a couple of times, but things can really turn very quickly with him, and you get the wrong series of corruption cards in your hand, and all of a sudden it just becomes really hard to do. It's hard not to get knocked out, and obviously when you get knocked out, damage to you becomes double to Gravehold, and all of that can be really, really rough. So, which is why Adelheim and Phaedraxa seem like they might just give me a chance if we can find a way to generate some of our special abilities and get our charges and find a way to keep that our special abilities going and use them well. I think we got a chance. Phaedraxa is a little rougher than Adelheim in a sense because if we do get knocked out, hello, welcome to only having 2 breaches, and that could be its own sort of insanity. So we'll see. But I'm gonna roll. We'll pick one of these two. 1, 2, 3 for Adelheim. 4, 5, 6 for Phaedraxa. Phaedraxa's in the house. Here she is. All right, Adelheim. I tried, man. Tried to will it into being, but we will see how this goes. So Phaedraxa, bye-bye. Breach number 1. Yeah, she's like, I don't play that. We got 2, we got 3, we got 4. We don't need no stinking 1. That's right, because we're Phaedraxa. So let's set up her breaches. This is going to look like, and 2 is open, 3 is facing down, 4 is facing to the left. All right, so story time with Greg. Take 2. Look at that art. It's beautiful. All right, time is a web, like the ones the howling spinners weave in the depths. Each strand reaches backward and forward at once. What was, what is, what will be, there is no difference in the web. Silk is silk, time is time. I spoke the sister words before they were taught to me, before I could walk, but after the world was gone. Brahma says that is because the wraiths of the sisters encircle me beyond the veil, but she understands not. There is no host of sister ghosts guiding my path. There is no chorus of voices within me, only my own. I merely see the web and all trapped in it. I look at the survivors of the city, this beautiful and stark place hidden in the deep shadows, and in the web I behold Gravehold, as it was, and as it will be. I peel aside the door of a breach, and in the web a breach widens. Much like an eye struggling against the dark, I am born and I die. The nameless are much the same. Time is a web. No different, no more. Man, it's just like the tears to my eyes that this stuff brings. It's so incredible. All right, let's do it. What is her starting hand? We got her Tourmaline's Shard. You can gain an Aether. Any ally may suffer 1 damage. If they do, they can destroy a card in their hand. Obviously not going to be doing much of that. Our precious life is extraordinarily precious against this crooked masked jerk. Alright, ding. That's the starting hand. So Tourmaline's Shard, 3 crystals, 1 spark, and then the starting deck is going to be 4 crystals and a spark. So I need to sub out. I had another spark ready, but we need to get ourselves another crystal. All right, so we got the 4 crystals. So this is our 4 crystals and a 1 spark, and these are going to go under here. I have my turn order cards. We have 2 number 1s. I just grabbed the number 2. It could be a wild, it could be a number 3. It doesn't matter. There's 3 player turns and 2 Nemesis turns, and that's fine. The Crooked Mask, his setup, we have his corruption deck, and that is going to be formed face down next to him. So one of the things the Crooked Mask does in his corruption is that he breaks the rule of the game, but normally there is no shuffling. Well, now there is lots of shuffling. And of course I'm like, maybe I should sleeve all my cards, but I'm like, no, it doesn't really make any sense to sleeve all your cards in this game unless you're going to play the Crooked Mask and exclusively, right? So I will shuffle very carefully. So yeah, we have these 11 cards. This is our corruption deck, and the corruption deck will definitely be we will definitely cycle through that corruption deck as this game goes, right? Crooked Mask is a 5 difficulty. That seems low to me. He comes, so we have Gravehold he has 70 health, and then Gravehold as its normal 30, and I will leave those health meters right there. So here are the 9 Crooked Mask Nemesis cards. We're going to do our setup the way I did it in the last game against the Prince of Glutons. We're going to basically go through the tier 1 cards. We're going to take 2 minions out of the tier 1 cards. So again, I have all the expansion, all the wave 1 and all the wave 2 content. So we're going to take 2 minions. Why 2? Because in the original game, in the base game, Crooked Mask is a base game. Nameless, in the base game, there were only 2 minions in the tier 1 cards, right? So I'm going to go through the power cards. We only need 2 of these. Bam. And then I'm going to go through the, those are the attack cards. Then I'm going to go through the power cards, and we need 4 of these. So they're going to be 8 tier 1 cards total. And we will do that. And then I'm going to shuffle these 8 cards. I'm going to get myself a D8. Actually, my D8's across the board over there. So I'm just going to roll a D10. 1 through 8. Bam. 3. There we go. The rest of these cards go away. So the tier 1, it's not the most efficient way to get 1 card, but it's what we do for the games we love, people. So then we're going to shuffle these 4 cards. And now we have our tier 1 Nemesis deck ready. So we got to do the same thing for tier 2. So tier 2, I'm going to take the minions. I need to get 3 of these suckers. It's going to be, there's only 7 in tier 2, and it's going to be 3, 1, 3. There's going to be 3 minions, 1 power, and 3 attacks. So there's the 3 minions. Bam. Get the power cards. I need to get 1 of these out, and then I need to get 3 of the attack cards as well out. I'm going to shuffle these up. We need to grab 3 of these. I'll do the same thing with the D10. There's only 7 cards here though, so I need 3. I rolled, that's number 4. I'll roll a D6 for the next 2. I rolled a 5, and then from here I rolled a 1. All the 4 cards can go out. We're going to mix these up, and now we have the tier 2. Now you notice I do have the various tiers in different colors. So tier 1 is blue, tier 2 is black, tier 3 is red. It really helps set up and take down, and also, as someone pointed out, it helps you determine what tier I'm in as I go, which is cool. So that's done, and now we just have to do the same with tier 3. So there's only 2 of the minions. So I'm going to just shuffle these. I'm going to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I rolled a 5. Now we're going to need to get 2 power cards. Now, make no mistake, with only the 1 minion, that's fine. The minions that come with the Crooked Mask are gnarly, and there are 2 of them in the tier 3 cards. So rough. All right, so we're going to take, what did I say, 2 of those, and now we need 4 attack cards. So again, the breakdown in tier 3 is 1, 2, 4 for the basic cards. And then again, obviously we'll add to that the Crooked Mask specials. So there'll be 10 cards total in tier 3, 6 cards total in tier 2, 4 cards total in tier 1. What's that add up to? 20 cards! Tell us what you won! A chance to get destroyed by the Crooked Mask. Alrighty then. The crowd goes wild. Cool. I'm going to stack that up. There we go. Nemesis deck is done. And what do we need to do? Well, we need to draft the market. So I'm really tempted to draft. I'll probably leave this as the main phase for the Crooked Mask, as I just kind of thinking of how we can do this best, and we'll have our market over to the right. I'm very, very tempted to put 3 cards in each stage of this draft, but I'm going to go with 2. And what am I looking for? I don't know. A miracle? I'm looking for a miracle, kids. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I found really optimistic. I sound great. All right, let's, so that is the gems. So I'm going to reveal 2, pick 1, and we'll go from there. We get Diamond Cluster or the Painstone. Diamond Cluster is pretty solid. Painstone is interesting. I love the Painstone against the Carapace Queen. The problem with the Painstone is it just that 6 cost is rough, and I don't know if it's worth the 2 Aether and the 1 damage. I'd probably use it for the 3 Aether anyway. The Diamond Cluster is great because if you get 2 of them, that's 6 Aether right there. But the downside with the Crooked Mask is you're shuffling your deck so much you can't guarantee that you are grouping your things as much as you want. So I will go with the Painstone. Not sure that's right, but it just it feels right, kids. That's what I'm doing. We have Alien Element, gain 1 Aether. For each of your breaches with a spell prep to it, you gain an additional Aether. That's not very strong with Phaedraxa. The Frozen Magmite, you may place the next card you gain this turn on top of your deck. That sounds nice. Again, we use that to great success against the Prince of Gluttons. And the Haunted Barrelite, gain 2 Aether. Discard a card in hand if you do gain 2 charges. Or the Burning Opal, 3 Aether. You may discard a card in hand if you do. An ally gains a charge. So again, and an ally would be us. I don't really hate that. A Haunted Barrelite, I just find that transaction not worth it at all. So we'll stick with the Burning Opal, and we'll go from there. All right, so that is going to be our gem collection. We had the Painstone, Burning Opal, and the Haunted. The Frozen Magmite. Marmonite. Isn't there like an Australian thing? Like it's a Vegemite? Was that what I'm thinking of? I don't know. Somebody in Australia, let me know what I'm thinking of. All right, relics. They're like, dude, we don't know what you're thinking of. You're crazy. I know. It's a thing. So I'm going to shuffle this. Shadow seems extreme today, so I'll play with the lighting a little bit. I'm going to move that light when I set up the market, so we'll try to get that shadow out of the way during the main game. All right, so I shuffled up the relics. We're only going to take 2. I like to do a 3 gem, 2 relic, 4 spell game. So we have Astral Cube. Return a gem you played this turn to your hand. Reveal the top card of your turn order deck. If you reveal the player's turn order card, that player gains a life. It could be strong. It costs 5 though. The Karn Compass. An ally may prep a spell in their discard pile to their opened or closed breach. Breach is. Oof. That's a nice way to cycle spells. An Astral Cube. Return a gem you played this hand to your turn. Return a gem you played this turn to your hand. So I could play a gem, return it to my hand, play it again, and then reveal it, potentially get life. I think the Astral Cube, Karn Compass I like, but Astral Cube's really dynamic. I'm gonna go with that one, and then the other one is Primordial Fetish. Focus any player's breach or destroy this and gain 3 life. Oh, that's interesting. So that's like the other version of what's the orbiting the orb that you can give life to Gravehold. And then you have Unstable Prism. Play a gem in hand twice and destroy it, or gain 2 Aether. I think the gaining life makes the most sense, as much as I like Unstable Prism. Thing is that if I'm going to use Phaedraxa's ability here to max, I need to keep her from dying. So I think that 3 life could come in handy. Although Unstable Prism is definitely one of my. I do like that card a lot. Do I have anything else that's destroying a card? No, I don't have anything that's destroying. Well, I think that's what I go with, and for better or worse, we'll see how this works out. All right, so now I'm going to shuffle up the spells. Again, the spells, I have spells in green, I have the gems in red, I have the relics in blue. Obviously, we are going to those in their home, and now let's get some spells. Oh, let me drop the spells on the table. All right, shuffle it a little bit more. Cool, let's see what we get. So, make it good. We got Equilibrium, cost 7. While Pratt, when you suffer damage, reduce the damage by 1 to a minimum of 1. Cast, deal 4 damage. Don't hate that. To a minimum of 1 is rough. But there's a lot of these corruption cards that give you 2 damage, so that could really add up. Devouring Shadow, while Pratt, once per turn, during your main phase, you may destroy a card in hand. Deal 3 damage. I think that's going to help thin my deck. Equilibrium is interesting, but I think Devouring Shadow makes a little bit more sense. So we're going to put that in play. That costs 6, plus Equilibrium costing 7 is definitely something that makes me worried. We have Bam and Bam. Scorch, cast, deal 4 damage. It does damage causes the minion from the Nemesis deck to be discarded. Any ally gains 2 charges. Interesting. Pyromancy, deal 1 damage. Allies may collectively discard up to 2 cards in hand. For each card discarded this way, deal 3 additional damage. Don't love that because it's relying on me to discard cards. Discarding 2 cards is usually not a great idea. So we're going to have Scorch. Could be, again, another good way to just passively start stacking up on some charges. Ignite, deal 2 damage. Any ally gains a charge. Again, in a solo game, any ally is you. You are your own ally. Conjure the Lost, deal 5 damage. You may destroy this. If you do, Gravehold gives 4 life. Gotta like that. Ignite, I think, is just too similar to Scorch. Maybe? Do I want to do that? Now I'm debating, because Scorch is going to be reliant on the minion dying. Ignite is just that nice way of just getting 1 charge every time. Conjure the Lost, I mean, that's 6 damage if you have on one of these open breaches with Conjure the Lost. Destroy this. I think I go with Conjure the Lost. I think it's too good. Too good. All right, and then we have Spectral Echo, deal 2 damage. You may destroy a card in hand. Or we have Aurora, while prepped once per turn during your main phase, you may gain 1 charge, deal 3 damage. Wow. I like the idea of having a cheap spell and another card that only costs 3. Aurora is really interesting though. It deals 3 damage. If I can just keep this prepped and this prepped, and I'm just like thinning my deck and getting charges. I don't think I've ever played with Aurora. That's a really interesting one. I'm gonna. Oh man, I have no cheap spells. If I don't take Spectral Echo, no cheap spells whatsoever. And how much am I gonna want to keep that Aurora prepped just to get extra charges? That is the question. Spectral Echo allows me to. Well, Spectral Echo would almost like replace Devouring Shadow, right? And then it would let me get a lot of scorches. And if I could just kill things with scorches a lot, then I'll be getting the charges anyway. So let me do that. I'll probably go with a Spectral Echo Scorch strategy, and then I'll just supplement with a couple of Conjure the Losts. I know that sounds great in theory. We'll see how that goes in practice. All right, so that is the market. Feel okay about it. No, there's a bit of a glare issue. I'll try to address that. I'll try to address a shadow issue. We will be back, and we will have the market set up, and we will be ready to go against the Crooked Mask. And all right, so looking at this market, I mean, one thing that stands out is that I don't have anything that's focusing a breach, right? So that is going to be something to consider. I mean, it's going to be 8. If I focus this incrementally, it's going to be 4 and 4. So that's 8, and then it's going to be 3, 6, 9. So I mean, it's honestly, it's not awful considering it's compared to other mages. I mean, I can get all my breaches open with only 17. So, you know, if I die again, if I get knocked out, the big problem is again we're just down to that. and that could very much not be enough. But we're also playing as a Crooked Mask, and we're very likely going to be knocked out. Now, why do I like Phaedraxa? You know, I mean, Adelheim had an ability where he can just ignore an attack card or a power card if you have, you have this filled up. The Auspex Rune is Phaedraxa's special ability, and that gets activated immediately after a turn order card is drawn. I can choose to prevent any damage that the players or Gravehold would suffer during the turn, and that is an inclusive or. So that is not, it should be like end or Gravehold. It is any damage, period, that Gravehold, any damage that's bad for the players is just absolutely negated. And that's all damage. So if I, and with the Crooked Mask, one of the things that's cool is that I will have a lot of cards in my hand, corruption cards, that could cause damage to myself, that I could choose to just negate all damage even after pulling my own turn order card, right? So it's kind of it's a really interesting ability that could pay massive dividends if we can manage to get, the charges in place and make it work. Now, one of the things that could really be unfortunate is if we have the charges and then all of a sudden we get knocked out, we lose all those charges. Now we just, again, really wasted a lot of Aether, and that's kind of the dangers of doing a charge heavy game in true solo, is that you have to give all the damage to yourself, and we're playing against a Nemesis that gives a lot of damage to the player. Whew, we really need the timing to work out well for us early in this game. So let's get this thing started. So I'm going to roll a die. Again, I do not like shuffling the turn order card, and I don't like using like an app for turn order randomization. I just, whatever, it doesn't work for me. So I just roll a die. I rolled a 2. That is going to be a player turn, and we'll just keep that there. All right, so player turn. So I have my hand. All right, I have my spark. I have my 3 crystals. I have my tourmaline shard. So what do we have? I'm gonna prep this spark, and I have a purchase power of 4. Oh, I could get the primordial fetish to start focusing a breach. I forgot about that. I did forget about that. How could I forget about that? I don't know. How did I forget about that? Astral cube's interesting. I don't have 5 though. So really it's that. Or the frozen man. No, let's do it. Let's get those breaches open, and then I'll just plan on destroying that quick, get the 3 life, and that's fine. All right, so now I'm going to end my turn. So that was my main phase. At the end of my turn, I go to my draw phase, and we have just that 1 prep spark. We prepped the spark. All right, what are we doing? We're rolling. What do we get? It's a 5, only 4 cards. It's a 2, it is still a player turn. And now that there's 3 cards, it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I do, when there's 2 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when there's 4 or 5 cards, sometimes you have some dud rolls, but for the most part, we'll be good. So I'm going to spend those 4 crystals. I do want to get my big, one of my big breaches open soon. So I'm just going to do that, and then we're good to go. I'm going to now do the draw phase, draw up the 5 cards. We have Primordial Fetish, we have Tourmaline Shard, and then Crystal, Crystal, Crystal. So this buying power 4 is interesting. I do think I'll get a Spectral Echo. I think that'll make some sense. All right, so again, I focus this breach. It does mean that I have to cast that spark next turn, because that's where I placed it, and that's my next turn, and that's totally fine. I rolled, it's a 4, so 3 forward to the middle. We're going to go to the main phase for the Crooked Mask. There's nothing here, so we're going to go right to his draw phase. What does he get? Well, it is Burden. The players collectively gain 2 corruptions and place them on top of their decks. Any player focuses a breach. Awesome. I'm going to focus that breach, and the Crooked Mask gave me a gift, but now he gives me awfulness. I take 1 corruption, place it on my deck. I take another corruption, place it on my deck. Burden comes out of play. And that is one of the Crooked Mask's tier 1 attack cards. And now we're going to go to the next turn. What I roll is a 5. The next Nemesis turn. Main phase, nothing here. Draw phase. All right, the player with the most crystals, in hand discards all of their crystals. So all these crystals are out, and then suffers 3 damage. Oh, I never gave myself the 10 life. Sorry about that. But I suffer 3 damage. I'm only going to take 7, and then I gain a card from the supply pile. That any supply pile I want that costs 4 or less. I think it makes sense to get the Spectral Echo. Do I want to get the Frozen Magmite? No. Or I could get the Primordial Fetish and try to make sure I don't die. That might be better. That might be better. Focus that. I have 1 ether. I'm not going to be able to buy anything next turn. That's fine. No, I'll get the primordial fetish. I'm kind of digging, you know, getting to a place where I can get back to 10 life. A lot of the damage in my plays with the Crooked Mask, I was finding a lot of the damage that Gravehold was getting was after I was knocked out. So if I could prevent that, that'll really, really help. All right, so we did that, and now last turn of, you know, the first sequence of 5 turns, I'm going to have to cast a spark. What's that going to do? That's going to get Gravehold down to 69 health. Bam. And now we're going to, I have 1 Aether, that's fine. I'm going to play Primordial Fetish, focus any player's Breach, which means I can focus that Breach. All right. I can put those back in the discard pile any one I want. So again, I spent that Aether. I just didn't spend it on anything, but I played the card to gain an Aether. And then we have Primordial Fetish. I'll put the Primordial Fetish actually, now I'll keep it. Now I'll keep it like that. Yeah, I'll put the Primordial Fetish down first and then the Tourmaline Shard. Draw phase, so I draw up the 5 cards. Oh no, look what we have. Great, so let's go through these special rules. So the Crooked Mask, his unleashed ability is you gain a corruption and any player places on top of their deck and then shuffles their discard pile into their deck. That includes if the discard pile has 0 cards. You always shuffle. So you're shuffling, oh, 0 cards, I shuffle 0 cards in. I'm still shuffling my deck. Additional rules, when a corruption is destroyed, it gets placed under here. All the corruption cards say to destroy them. So they basically get cycled underneath and you have these 11 cards that you will be cycling through. When a player would gain a corruption and the corruption deck is empty, Gravehold suffers 2 damage instead. That would be impossible to happen in the true solo game from my experience. That'd be really insane. At the start of each player's turn, before the player's casting phase, the player resolves all corruptions in their hand in any order, so we'll see that my next turn. At the end of each player's main phase, if the player had drawn any corruption cards during the turn, they do resolve that before they do the draw phase. And corruptions may not be played at any other time. That doesn't mean they can't be discarded. So if I had so my hand starts, say I did that, say I drew a card, I drew another corruption, and I had an ability to let me discard, I could discard. It just means I can't play. So they only get played again at the beginning of your turn before the casting phase, or at the end of your main phase before the draw phase. All right. When a player gains a corruption, that player may not look at it until it is placed in their hand. So now I can look at them. Look at me. All right. Now we're going to move these back. We're going to go for turn 6. What is it? I rolled a 1. It's going to be a player turn. I know that shadow is still a little bit weird when I go over here, but it seems like it's okay for the rest of the board. I'll just try to keep my hands out of the way so we don't have to worry about the shadow as much. All right. So what do we have? Here is the cards in my hand. So again, I have to resolve the corruptions before I go to my main phase. So I have Lust for Power and Contagion. The one says suffer a damage, gain a charge, destroy this. The other one says suffer a damage, return any card from your discard pile that costs 0. Sure. And then it says well, that's not going to matter. Then it destroy that. I would want to see this one before I see this one. So I suffer a damage, gain a charge, destroy it. Boom. And then I'm going to do suffer a damage, return a card that costs 0, who cares, and then destroy this. That gets placed here as well. Then I go to my main phase. So I'm just going to spend, if I spend 3, then I can actually start trashing these next turn, and I do want to get that breach open, but I need to get some spells. I need a spell. All right. I'm going to get Spectral Echo just to get a spell that can do more damage than a spark. Cool. It is what it is. All right, let's draw up to my hands limit of 5. So we got a crystal. Then we have another crystal. We have a third crystal. I sense a pattern, a 4th crystal, and then a primordial fetish. Cool. What's turn is it? I rolled a 3. It is a Nemesis turn. Main phase. There was nothing there. Draw phase. Bam. It says Heart of Nothing to discard 4 cards in hand. Power unleashed twice or any player suffers 4 damage. So it does have a discard ability on it. We'll see if I want to do that on my next turn. Next, I rolled a 2. 1/2 is a player turn. So what am I going to do? I have no corruption, so I don't need to worry about that. I do not want to cast that spark just yet. No thanks. I'm going to play Primordial Fetish. We're going to focus that breach, and then I will take care of that while I can. I'm just going to discard these 4 cards and take care of Heart of Nothing. Bye-bye. All right, Primordial Fetish will go on top of my discard pile. My turn is over. We go to the draw phase. We get a spark, Primordial Fetish, Spectral Echo, Tourmaline Shard, and a Crystal. Cool. What's next? I rolled, it's a 5, so 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna not, I'm not gonna cast that Spark yet. We're gonna do Spectral Echo. Nope, sorry. We're gonna do Primordial Fetish. That's going to focus that breach. Again, if a breach is about to be focused, if a breach is at the top and it says focus, you instead open it. Great. I'm going to prep a Spark. I'm going to prep a Spectral Echo. And then we're going to play the Tourmaline Shard and this Crystal. That's 2 Aether. I'm going to get myself a Spark. A charge. I mean, yeah. Charge? Spark? No, it's a charge. Right. I know what's happening. So I never got a Frozen Magmite. I've not got a Burning Opal. I've not got a Pain Star. I'm playing a very weird game here, but this is me being the Crooked Mask is in my head. So we're trying some different strategies here, and I think if I can get through the next couple of turns, I feel pretty strong about my chance to turn this around and get this in the direction I want to go. All right, so I have 5 crystals. A buying power of 5 is perfect, because then I'll probably get, I want to get one more big spell, and then I'll start worrying about, I never got the Magmite. Burning Opals, interesting. I don't know, we'll see. So, Nemesis, bam, that goes there. We're going to, there's nothing in the main phase, we do the draw phase, and it is the Crooked Mask's special tier 1 Nemesis, or minion. It's the Corruptor. When the minion suffers damage, the player who dealt that damage gains a corruption and places it on top of their deck. Alright, so the Corruptor comes into play with 6 health, and obviously he's someone that you don't want to attack you want to attack as few times as you can, because you're going to have that negative impact of taking a corruption every time he takes some damage. All right, so we're going to now go to turn number 11. I rolled a 2. It is a Nemesis turn. All right, so the persistent effect of the Corruptor, which I forgot to mention when he just came out, is that we do 1 damage to Gravehold. So Gravehold is down to 29. And so, I mean, it's only 1 damage. You can have a couple of turns. If you're like, hey, I think I can get to a place where I can kill the Corruptor in 2 blows, then you might want to kind of go for that. So there is like a plus minus there, because again, a lot of these cards are going to do damage to Gravehold anyway, right? So, you're trying to calculate that. What do we have here? Mutilate, Unleash. All right, so first Unleash effect. Ugh, that's basic. Oh, that's really bad. All right, so we're going to Unleash. What's the Unleash? Any player gains a corruption. Then we shuffle it. We put it placed on top of our deck, and then we shuffle our discard pile. My discard pile happens to have 0 cards, but we still have to shuffle all of this. All right, the players collectively discard 2 prep spells. I'm going to discard my 2 sparks, so that could be worse. And then any player suffers 2 damage. I'm down to 3 health. Come on, Primordial Fetish. Come help me out, kids. All right, so that goes away. That was the Nemesis' turn. What do we have here? I rolled a 4. Oh, man. So I'm going to have 3 player turns in a row, which could be really good if I can survive this. All right, so we have 1 damage to Gravehold. What's next? That's the main phase, draw phase, Unleash twice. That's really bad. Yeah, I'm gonna get knocked out. Just the math. This crazy thing is, would be great if I had one more charge. This is so gross. Unleash twice. So this goes here. This gets shuffled in. I mean, I have 3 cards in here. So, I mean, look, there's an outside chance, but it's not looking good. So that's the first Unleash. I Unleash again. So I have 3 corruptions in here. So, I mean, look, if I can get lucky with this draw and this shuffle, maybe there's a chance that I can get through here with like 1 life remaining. So I'm there's a sliver of hope. The player with the most expensive prep spell places that spell on top of their deck, and honestly, considering I'm scared to draw cards in my hand, this actually could be a blessing in disguise. So that goes there. Now 3 player turns in a row. So player turn number 1, casting phase, nothing to cast. I'm going to buy a score. No, I think I buy a Scorch, or do I buy an ally, a charge, an ally? I could buy a charge and a Frozen Magmite. That might make more sense. Yeah, I'm going to buy a charge, because at some point, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to cancel some corruptions in my hand. And I get a Frozen Magmite. And that way I can start putting cards in my hand. So what did I draw? Draw phase, Spectral Echo. There's 1 corruption. That's going to make me suffer 2 damage. Crystal, Spark. Oh, all right. We're good. Let's do it. Bam, player turn. I have to play Reckless Might. Gain a relic from any relic supply and place it on top of your deck. Primordial Fetish. Suffer damage equal to half its cost rounded up. This costs 4. I'm going to suffer 2 damage and I survive. Nice. Then I destroy this. What happens when you destroy a corruption? It goes there. Cool. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to destroy the Primordial Fetish. Gain 3 life back. Gets me up to 4. I'm going to play the Spectral Echo. I'm going to play the 1 Aether. Obviously, I'm not getting anything. I'm going to prep the Spark as well. And that is fine. The Aether just goes away, but I did play the Crystal, so that goes in my discard pile. I draw to my hand limit. Primordial Fetish, Primordial Fetish, Crystal, Tourmaline Shard, and a Corruption. Okay, this will work well. Player turn. Bam, I play the Corruption. What happens? Gravehold suffers 3 damage. So Gravehold's down to 25. I gain 2 life, so I'm going to get 2 more of these. I'll keep the ones. They're going to be more helpful. And I destroy this. All right. I'm going to, this could work. Yeah, I'm going to play the Tourmaline Shard. I get an Aether. I'm going to suffer a damage. So is that any ally? I'm going to make myself suffer. I'm going to suffer 1 damage to destroy a card in hand. I'm going to destroy the Crystal. Now I'm going to destroy both of these Primordial Fetishes to get up to 10 life. So it's a little not efficient, but I don't want to keep those fetishes in my hand. I think it just makes more sense to thin my deck out, and hopefully I can get a money hand soon. Did I buy the Scorch? No, I didn't. So that is obviously going to be an important thing for me to get. All right, well, I think we're in an interesting spot. We'll see. So obviously I'm not attacking the Corruptor just yet. Not sure how I want to take care of him. Spectral Electro wouldn't have made sense because I destroyed the cards in my hand anyway. Let me do my draw phase before I forget. So there's a Corruption, a Frozen Magmite, a Spark, 2 Crystals. Cool. Do this. It is a Nemesis turn. 1 damage to Gravehold. The Gravehold's down to 24. Draw phase. What do we get? It is the Mage Ender. The player with the most open breaches suffers 2 damage, and that sucker has 9 health. Interesting. Next turn, I rolled a 1. Nemesis turn again. Gravehold suffers 1 damage. I suffer 2 damage. Phaedraxa, I need to get her freaking charges up. All right. Vex. Discard the top 2 cards in the Nemesis deck. 1, 2. For each tier 3 Nemesis card discarded this way, Gravehold suffers 4 damage. We got lucky. That was 0. Not upset about that. 3 player turns in a row again, this is my hand. Got it. So player turn. What am I doing? Gain a spell from any spell supply pile. I'm going to gain Conjure the Lost. Gain 3 corruptions. So I gain that here. And then I'm going to gain 3 corruptions to place them on top of my deck. So 1, 2, 3. Really bad. And then this gets destroyed. I get destroyers back on the corruption deck. Now that I go to my main phase, what am I doing? I'm going to, I never bought the Scorch. Frozen Magmite says whatever I buy, I can go on top of my deck. Buy another Spectral Echo. All right, I'm going to cast this. Oh, that means I'm going to have just a ton. Oh, could do that. I think that will work. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cast a Spectral Echo. It does 2 damage plus 1 because it's on the open breach number 4. I'm going to do 3 damage to the Corruptor. Alright, when this minion suffers damage, the player who dealt it must gain a corruption card to place on the top of their deck. Now look, just like the last corruption card I had, and that's not an unleash ability, so it just goes on top of my deck. So I know I have 4 corruption cards on top of my deck. Alright, I have 4. I'm going to place this Spark here. I have, should I just do that? That's not a bad idea. I'm going to cast this other Spark, do 2 more damage to Corruption. Again, it says plus 1 damage. Get another Corruption card, goes on top of my deck. I'm going to prep this Spark. I have 4 Aether. I'm going to buy 2 more charges. Now, I didn't get to use the ability of the Frozen Magmite, but I think you'll see what I'm going for here. I draw up to 5. Corruption card, Corruption card, Corruption card, Corruption card, and Corruption card. Great. Next turn. Bam! What happened? I just drew a turn order card. I'm going to activate the Auspex Rune. I prevent any damage that players or Gravehold will suffer this turn. Cool. So I can resolve these in any order. So Gravehold suffers. No, don't want to do that. Oh, that's interesting. All right. I would like to have things go in this order. So I get to suffer a damage. Now I cancel that because of Auspex Rune, but I deal 2 damage. I'm going to kill the Corruptor just to get him done with, because Gravehold's already done to 23, but it doesn't mean a corruption card gets added there, right? I'm going to, and then that gets destroyed. That goes here. All right, Gravehold suffers 2 damage. Gravehold's, do I want to do that next? Probably not. I suffer a damage. I cancel that. It says I can destroy a non-corruption card in my hand. I only have corruption cards. Grim Sight. Gravehold suffers 2 damage. The last 2, sorry, Blind Abandon and Fever of War were the last 2 cards I played. Gravehold suffers 2 damage. Oh, that's so sick. So Gravehold suffers 2 damage. Nope, I cancel that. I can look at the top card on my deck. I can destroy it. Now look, this says you can't play any corruption cards, but I can destroy it. So I'm just going to destroy this, and all these are now destroyed. So this, I will destroy this in this order, and then the corruption card gets destroyed after that. Right? That's totally legit, because the only thing you can't do is you can't play it, but you can discard it, and if you have something that allows me to destroy it like I just did, I just had a chance to destroy it. Now I'm going to discard any 2 no, I'll do this. I'll suffer 2 damage. Place a gem from the least expensive supply pile into my hand. Oh wait, I should do it this way. Sorry. Nothingness. Discard 2 non-corruption cards. I have none. Suffer 2 damage. I don't. I canceled that. Shuffle any player turn order card into the turn order deck. Destroy this. So I'm going to put another player turn order thing there. And then suffer 2 damage. I cancel that. Place a gem from the least expensive gem supply pile into my hand. Sorry, yeah, this is written weird. Place a gem from the least expensive supply pile and place, so it should be take a gem from the least expensive supply pile and place it into my hand. Destroy this. And now I have a Frozen Magmite. With the Frozen Magmite, I will spend the 2 Aether and I will just get myself a charge. Boom. That was ridiculous. Cool. I'm going to draw it to 5 now. Crystal, 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 and Tourmaline Shard. I'm going to have another player turn. So I'm basically have 4 player turns in a row, and I just ignored all that damage from all those corruption cards. That was really, really cool. I'm going to spend the 5 on a Scorch, put that on top of my deck. I probably should have kept the Frozen Magmite, but that's fine. I mean, I could put these cards in any order. I'll put them like that. They come here. I draw out my hand limit, which is 5. Conjure the Lost, Spectral Echo, Spark, Frozen Magmite, and a Crystal. Next, player turn. I'm going to do 2 damage with the Spark, get the Mage Ender down to 7 health. I'm going to play Conjure the Lost, Spark, Spectral Echo. That's all prepped. Frozen Magmite and Crystal. That's a purchase power of 3. Next card I gain, I get to put on top of my deck. I will gain another Frozen Magmite. Let's try to get some Aether adding up here. All right, and the Frozen Magmite. So I bought a Frozen Magmite, put it on top of my deck because of the Frozen Magmite. Awesome. Draw phase. Frozen Magmite, Crystal, Frozen Magmite, Scorch, and Tourmaline Shard. All right. So I got some decent spells now, so I think we're kind of looking better than I thought we would. I'm going to roll that. It is a 4. It's a player turn. I'm going to play Conjure the Lost. So I cast, deal 6 damage. Now, again, I could destroy this at this point to give Gravehold 4 life. Obviously not doing that. I'm going to cast a Spark, deals 1 damage. This guy is toast. I'm going to prep the Scorch, and then I have a purchase power of 6, and I could put a card on top of my deck. I'm going to get the Conjure the Lost, and put this on my deck. You know, place the next card you buy, or if I bought 2 cards, I could put 2 on top of my deck. Now I do want to start getting, I do probably want to start getting charges. But again, getting to the point where I can start doing some serious damage to the Crooked Mask is going to be important. All right, so that works. I'm going to, oh, sorry, those go that way. I draw up to my hand limit. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cool. Next turn. What's up? I rolled a 5, not helpful. I rolled a 1. Nemesis turn. Main phase. There's nothing in the main area. So we do the draw phase. We are now in tier 3 cards. It is power 2. I can spend 8 Aether to discard it, or Gravehold suffers 5 damage for each Nemesis turn order card in the turn order discard pile. Now that at this point would be guaranteed. So the next Nemesis card is going to make this a 1. Then they're going to reshuffle to the next Nemesis card, so it would be basically 5 damage to Gravehold. That's the Apocalypse Ritual. All right, so that's not that bad. We're going to go to the next turn. 5/6 is a player turn. 4, Conjure the Lost. I'm going to cast Scorch. It's 4 damage, becomes 5 damage because it's on Breach 4. And I'm going to do 5 damage to the Crooked Mask. I'm going to really start trying to crush into him a little bit. I'm going to prep Conjure the Lost, and then with this 4 Aether, I'm going to get 2 charges. So notice I'm just going to leave the Spectral Echo there for now and try to get my charges loaded up so I can, in case I get another array of a ton of corruption cards, I have something that I can do about it, right? So next, I rolled a 6 player turn. We're going to, might as well cast everything. Sure, I'm going to play Conjure the Lost. That's 6 damage. So I'm going to get Gravehold. So it's 5 damage plus 1. So I'm going to get, not Gravehold, Crooked Mask down to 58. I'm going to prep Spectral Echo. That's going to be 2 damage plus 1. Gets the Crooked Mask down to 55. Oh, and then I can destroy a card in hand. I'm going to destroy a crystal. I'm going to prep the Conjure the Lost. I'm going to prep a spark, Frozen Magmite. I'm just going to get myself a charge. So I'm just 1 charge away from being fully loaded with the Auspex Rune again. Draw phase, Frozen Magmite, Tourmaline Shard, Crystal, and Scorch. Cool. Nemesis turn. There's the last card remaining. So this goes away. That was the main phase. Draw phase. It is any player places their discard pile on top of their deck, shuffles it, and destroys the top 4 cards of their deck unleashed twice. Yikes. Gather Darkness. That's really bad. Alright, that's fine. I have a very good deck here, but oh man, that's rough. That's rough. So I got the 1 Conjure the Lost out at least, and I have in my hand the 1 Scorch, so it could be a lot worse. So we'll see what these 4 cards are. Destroying the top 4 cards of my deck. What do I destroy? I destroy a Crystal. That's 1. I destroy a Conjure the Lost. That's 2. I destroy a Spectral Echo. That's 3. And a Crystal. That's 4. Honestly, that could have been a lot worse, right? And then I unleash twice. So this comes into my deck. It gets shuffled into my discard pile of 0 cards. So that's my first corruption card. And this comes into my deck. Now I only have 5 cards in my deck, so again, I'll probably be doing a similar thing. The nice thing about using Phaedraxa's ability against the Crooked Mask is that you're getting the benefits, but you're ignoring all the damage, right? So it's a really interesting, interplay here. So unleash twice, that's done, and this card goes away. Bam. So Gravehold probably will suffer 5 damage because of the Apocalypse Ritual. I don't think I'm going to be able to stop that. Not if I'm going to save my Aether for the next time I draw cards. I know I'm drawing at least 2 corruption cards, right? So here we go. I rolled. It's a 6, not helpful. It's a 5 Nemesis turn. So there's 1 Nemesis turn order card in the Nemesis in the turn order discard pile. So that comes off. This triggers. Gravehold suffers 5 damage for each. There's only 1, so Gravehold's down to 18. Now remember, the Conjure the Lost, I just lost 1, but I could try to get another one. I could gain 4 life back with that. And now we're going to draw a card. Just making sure I was right on timing. And we have the Ruin Priest. Awful. Any player discards 3 non-corruption cards and gains 3 corruption cards and places them into his or her hand. I need that sucker to die quick. It's really bad. All right. So hopefully we get a player turn. Yikes. All right, that's going to be rough. 17 health's a lot for that minion. So, wow, that's a really bad minion. What did I roll? It's a 3, so it's a player turn. So I'm going to do 6 damage, 7, 8 damage, 9 damage. The minion's down to 8. And I could prep the Scorch. That's only going to give me 5, so I'm still going to be 3 shy, unfortunately. But again, I have this ability here. So what do we have? So Aether-wise, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to spend 2 of those on the last charge. So I have 4 more. I think with the 4 more, I get the Spectral Echo and I put it on top of my deck because of the Frozen Magmite. Right. So if I can get the Spectral Echo out, that would be enough damage to kill the Ruined Priest. So I'm going to draw up to 5 cards. So what do we have? We have the Spectral Echo. We have 1 corruption card. Suffer a damage. That's not bad. Might let that ride and wait till I get 3 more corruption cards. That player gains 3 corruption cards and places them into his or her hand. Yeah, that's not bad. I'll make that work. Cool. What's next? I rolled a 4. It is a Nemesis turn. So any player discards 3 non-corruption cards. I'm going to discard my Frozen Magmite, my Crystal, and I gain 3 corruption cards and place them into my hand. So I get a Reckless Might, an Endless Hunger, and a Dire Wisdom. And then we have the draw. Ooh, Monstrosity of Omens. When damage is dealt to this minion, reduce that damage to 1. Gravehold damage suffers damage equal to this minion's life. Cool. So I have 2 player turns in a row. So I'm going to use my ability, Auspex Rune. Considering I have 4 corruption cards in my hand, seems like a good time for that. So I'm going to gain a spell from the spell pile. I still gain the 3 corruptions. Yikes. You know what? If I'm gaining 3 more cards, these ones actually aren't that bad. Gain 3 corruptions. I'm gaining 3 more corruptions, so I suffer 1 damage. I'm going to suffer 3 damage, and Gravehold. That's fine. I'm going to gain these charges back. Forget that. Forget that. I got no new information. I had this loaded up, and just looking at these 4 corruptions, they're actually not that awful. So I can do these in any order I want. All right. I'm going to gain spell from the spell pile. I'm going to gain Conjure to Lost. I gain 3 corruptions, put them on top of my deck. 1, 2, 3. Destroy that. Bam. I'm going to suffer a damage. So I'm down to 7. Gain a card that costs 0 into my hand. There's no point, but that's fine. Destroy that. I'm going to... Gravehold's going to suffer 3 damage. Go down to 15. I gain 2 life. Destroy that. And then we have gain a relic. I'm going to gain the Primordial Fetish. And I'm going to suffer 2 damage. It's half the cost. Round it up. Destroy that. Really not bad. All right. And then I'm going to go to the casting phase. I'm going to cast the Scorch. That's 5. No, you know what? Even better. I'm going to prep the Spectral Electro. I'm not going to cast anything. And then I'm going to play the Crystal for 1 Aether. Oh, that's it. Goes away. A draw phase. Look at all the corruption cards. Look at all the lovely corruption cards. All right, player turn. Now I'm going to do this because these cards are worse. Yikes. All right, here we go. So Gravehold suffers 2 damage. Nope, I cancel that. Focus a Breach. No, do I want to do that first? All right, I'm going to do this first. I'm going to suffer a damage, but I cancel that because of Auspex Rune. Deal 2 damage. When damage is dealt, I reduce that to 1. So 1 damage to the monstrosity. Destroy that. Awesome. I'm going to suffer a damage. I cancel that aspect, but I gain a charge. Destroy that. I suffer a damage. I may destroy a non-corruption card in my hand. I don't want to. And then Gravehold suffers 2 damage. Focus a Breach. I cancel the damage to Gravehold. Auspex Rune for the win. All right, cool. Now, casting phase. I'm going to cast Scorch and Spectral Echo. I could destroy a card from my hand. I won't. No, I'm going to cast Spectral Echo first. Deals 3 damage to the Rune Priest because it's 2 + 1. And then Scorch does 4 damage, 4 + 1. Kills the Rune Priest. Since I destroyed a minion with that damage, I get 2 more charges. It's any ally, but that ally is me because you are your own ally in a true solo game. Now, I'm going to prep Conjure to Lost. And... so every time that comes out, that's 4 damage to Gravehold, which isn't great. I think I still have all my sparks, so I'm going to try to get those out and start doing 1 damage quickly to that sucker. Here, speak of 2 sparks. So hopefully I get 2 player turns in a row here. 2 Nemesis turns in a row would get Gravehold all the way down to 7, which would be rough. All right, what did I roll? It's a 2 player turn. That's nice. That is nice. And again, even if I could just ding that a little bit, you know, we're in better shape. I don't, oh man, I don't want to waste 6 damage and make it 1 for that dude. That just makes 0 sense. I could do that. That's nice. I could just get Auspex Rune and actually use Auspex Rune on a Crooked Mask turn, which I don't hate. So I'm going to deal 6 damage to the Crooked Mask, get him down to 49 with Conjure to Lost. Man, I feel like I've made no headway with that dude. All right, so I'm going to prep a spark, prep this spark here. I have Frozen Magmite and the Tourmaline Shard. I'm going to get myself 2 more charges, and I think that makes some sense. All right, drawing up to 5. What do we get? Primordial Fetish, Conjure the Lost, Crystal, Frozen Magmite Crystal. Can I get another player turn? 6 is not helpful. 5 is not helpful. The suspense! Player turn! Yes! Player turn. Cool. Spark, it would be 2 damage. It's reduced to 1. Spark, it is 1. So the Monstrosity of Omens is already down to 2 health. So that's great. I'm going to destroy the Primordial Fetish to get up to 10 health on Phaedraxa. Alright, I'm going to prep Conjure the Lost. I have a buying power of 4. I can put it on my deck. I will get... Man, buying power 5 would be so much better. Because I could get another Scorch. I think I just go for broke with some spells here. So I'm going to get myself a Spectral Echo and put that on my deck. And these all go here. Drawing up to 5. Bam and bam. What are we getting? I rolled, it's a 1, so it's a Nemesis turn. So 2 damage to Gravehold. Gravehold's down to 13. And we draw a card. Alright. Oh, Bedlam Sage. I forgot there's another one. Gravehold gains 2 life. The player with the most life suffers 3 damage. That's not actually awful for us. Alright. Interesting. Interesting. Do I have? I only have 1 Primordial Fetish left, so I don't want to ride that out too far. But that actually won't be terrible, especially since if I get another Nemesis turn, basically Gravehold will break even at 13 health. Would I roll it to 5? So player turn. I'm going to. Oh, I have 4 spells in my hand, which is nuts. Oh, I could also cancel all that damage, and Gravehold would still get 2 life, which I don't hate. Alright, I'm going to play Conjure the Lost. That's 6 damage to the Bedlam Sage. Prepping Conjure the Lost, Scorch, Spectral Echo. I have 1 Aether, can't spend it on anything, and then I have a Spectral Echo in my hand, which I can't use. Again, welcome to Phaedraxa with only 3 breaches. I draw it to my hand limit, which is 5. Boom, boom, and boom. Alright, I think I do this. So this is going to be a Nemesis turn. It's the last one left. I'm going to cancel all damage to players and the Gravehold. So no damage to Gravehold. Gravehold gains 2 life, no damage to me. And then I draw. It is power 1. The player with the most charges suffers 4 damage and loses all of their charges. I can take 4 damage. That's not a problem. It's power 1. Alright, we'll see. But I might actually be taking 7 damage if this is a Nemesis turn. But that will be fine. Cool. Let's do this. Roll is a 4 player turn. Getting really lucky with the turn orders here. So I'm going to... This is only 8 health. Yeah, we're going to do 5 damage, 3 damage. That's only going to be 1. That's fine. So I'm going to do 6 damage with Conjure the Lost. I'm going to Scorch. Do I have 7? I think I'm just going to take... I'm going to take that. I'm not even going to try to get rid of that. I guess I could... That's fine. I'll take the 2. So I'm like, feel like I'm wasting the Scorch on only 2 health, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna wipe out the Bedlam Sage. I get 2 charges because Scorch was the one that caused the Nemesis to be discarded. I'm going to do the Spectral Echo. I deal 2 damage. It becomes 1. I can destroy a card on hand. I'm going to destroy the Tourmaline Shard. And then I have the Frozen Magmite. I'm going to prep a Spectral Echo. I'm going to prep this Spark. And then I have 4. I'm just going to get 2 more charges. Or do I just want to get the Primordial Fetish? I put it on my deck in case a Nemesis turn comes off and I can just heal myself 3 right back. Which I don't hate, because the charges are probably going away. That's probably better. We'll do it that way. Alright, done. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next up, it is a Nemesis turn, so I did choose right there. Again, we have 1 damage to Gravehold because there's 1 health left on the monstrosity. This goes away. I lose all my charges and I take 4. I do get 4 damage. So I have 6 health left. That's done, and then I draw. Unleash twice. The player with the most prep spells suffers 1 damage for each of their prep spells. So we unleash once. My entire discard pile is here, so we're shuffling this in. We're unleashing again, so the attack card is Banish. And then so I unleash twice, and this again is a basic tier 3 card. The player with the most prep spells suffers 1 damage for each of their prep spells, so I will be down to 4 health. Man, the Crooked Mask. It's like I should be coasting at the point that I'm at with the amount of things that have gone my way, but wow, this guy is hard. All right, so I take 2 more damage. I'm down to 4, And that's fine. This attack card goes away. How many cards do we have left? Just 3. So we might actually deck them, which would be an interesting way to win. We go there, so it's a player turn. That's nice. So we're gonna go casting phase, cast a spark, 1 damage. That dude's finally dead. Do I want to cast a spectral echo? Not really. Yeah, I'm not gonna have enough charges for a while. I guess I'll cast a spectral. That's fine. So 3 damage. I'm going to get Gravehold down to, Crooked Mask down to 46, and I'll do the spectral echo before I killed off the monstrosity of omens. I'm going to prep a spark. I'm going to destroy the primordial fetish, get myself 3 more health, so I have 7 health, and then I have 4 buying power. I think with that 4, I mean, even with the frozen magmite, I just think it makes sense just to get some charges here. So I get 2 charges. And we'll put these here. So I draw out the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, I have 2 corruption cards in my deck. 1's in my hand. 1 is definitely in my hand. Most certainly in my hand. All right, what is up? We rolled. It is a 4, so Nemesis turn. Nothing in the main phase for first time in a long time. Draw phase. 2 different players each gain 2 corruptions and place them on their deck. Each of the players gains 1 life. So in a true solo game, I think I gained 4 and I gained 2 life. I don't see another way about how that would go based on my understanding of the rules. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I gained 2 more life, so I'm actually up to 9 life. Solo rules. Let me read this. Solo play. Solo play, if a card gives a charge to you and an ally, you instigate that charge yourself. An effect affects you and another player. You resolve that effect twice. Yup. So I am resolving that effect twice. So I have a bunch of corruptions on my deck. That's going to be interesting, but that's done. They only have 2 more cards left for that jerk. Player turn, that goes there. I have to resolve, before I do any casting, I have to resolve the corruption card. Discard 2 non-corruption cards. Done. Suffer 2 damage. Done. Shuffle any player's turn order card into the turn order deck. That will do. Destroy this. Cool. Spark. I'm going to cast a spark, do 2 damage to the Crooked Mask. He's down to 44. Prepping Scorch, prepping Conjure the Lost. Now I can go destroy that and give Gravehold 4 health. I might actually do that. I draw out to my hand limit. Remember, this is going to be probably 5 corruption cards. Oh, just 4. Player turn. Again, I just shuffled that back in. So before I get to the casting phase, I have to do this. What order do I want to put these in? Wow, I'm getting 3 more corruptions too. That's nuts. I don't think it matters what order these are in, to be honest. So we'll just do this. Gravehold. Gravehold suffers 3 damage. So Gravehold's down to 11, but I gain 2 life. So I'm back to 9. Destroy this. Bam. All right. I'm going to gain a spell from any spell supply. I'm going to gain Conjure the Lost. Gain 3. Am I drawing cards? Nope, not drawing any more cards. I'm going to gain 3 corruptions, place them on my deck. 1, 2, 3. Destroy this. Okay, what's next? I'm going to suffer 2 damage, place a gem from the least expensive supply pile, place it in my hand. I get a frozen magmite. So I'm still at 7 health. And that gets destroyed. And then it's suffer a damage. So I'm down to 6. I return a card that costs 0. So I'm going to get myself a crystal back. I want a crystal? Yeah, I'll take a crystal. And I destroy that. All right, not awful. So we're gonna do the casting. I'm gonna cast Scorch for 5 damage. So down to 39 for the Crooked Mask. I'm gonna cast Conjure the Lost for 6 damage, down to 33 for the Crooked Mask. And I can destroy this. I will destroy it and give Gravehold back 4 life, up to 15. Half-life at this point in the game is great. Spectral Echo. I'm going to spend the 3 Aether with the Frozen Magmite, put the Spectral Echo back, another Spectral Echo on my deck. And that's fine. Next turn, I draw out to my hand limit. Remember, 3 of these are corruption cards. 4 of these are corruption cards. It's like 3, just 1 more, and I'm very light on charges. So, go figure. Nemesis turn. Bam. Main phase, draw phase. So unleash twice, so this gets shuffled in here. So the player with the most open breaches destroys 4 cards in hand. Sure, it's obliterate. I'm pretty sure I can just destroy the corruptions or suffer 4 damage. Yeah, I'm almost positive I can destroy the corruptions. I won't because I'm curious, And then I have to get another one in here, and then you shuffle. I don't know what the last card is. Obviously, I haven't played this enough to know. I'm pretty sure there's no more minions. So the player with the most open breaches destroys 4 cards in hands. I mean, realistically, if I destroy these, I'm definitely decking out this guy. So like, it's not a concern. But I'm just out of an abundance of I have to destroy these, right? Suffer 1 damage. Suffer 1 damage. Deal 2 damage. Gain a relic. So I suffer 4. Gravehold. Yeah, I think I can just destroy these, and then it's pretty much game over. But out of a morbid curiosity, I'm just really curious. So 4 damage here. I'm going to lose all my charges. I don't think I would win this way. I don't think I would win this way at all. 4 damage. That goes away. We'll see. Next turn would be player turn. Alright, now I'd have to resolve this. Gravehold would suffer 2 damage, down to 13. I can look at the top card of my deck and destroy it. Sure. Who needs a Frozen Magmite at this point? This goes here. Gain a relic. I'll gain an astral cube. That gives me 3 damage. So that would be 2 to me, 2 to Gravehold. Because I have to suffer half the cost, round it up. Suffer a damage. That's 2 more to Gravehold. And deal 2 damage. So that's 2 to the Crooked Mask. Suffer a damage. That's 2 damage to Gravehold. Gain a charge. Oh, destroy this. Now, I would have done that in that order. Remember, when I got knocked out, what I would have needed to do is all the steps of being knocked out. So I had to get rid of my breaches. That goes there. And then I would have had to unleash twice. So I would have wanted to put the actual cube in my deck. So I would have done in that order, whatever order it was that I would have gotten that first. So this would get shuffled in the first time. This gets shuffled in the second time. Gravehold is down to 7 health. And I would just prep, at this point, the main phase, prep the Spectral Echo. I draw to my hand limit, Frozen Magmite, Crystal, only 1 Corruption. So that actually would have been a really good draw. So I think I still would have pulled it off. Again, I'm just doing this for kicks. so 6 is a player turn. I have to do the Corruption again, so I suffer a damage. That's 2 damage to Gravehold. That's down to 5. I can destroy a non-corruption card in my hand. Whatever. Don't want to. That gets destroyed. I can deal 6 damage to the Crooked Mask. He's down to 25. And I can prep Scorch. I have 4. So I would have had, again, if I did it in the order I want, I would have had that 1 charge left over, and I could spend for 2 more charges here. Now I draw up to 5. Crystal, Spectral Echo. So 1 Corruption. Yeah, that's actually, that'd be 4 damage to Gravehold. Wow. Awesome. Next, it's a player turn. Oh, that's amazing. So nothingness. I discard 2 non-corruption cards. So Magmite and Crystal, and 4 damage to Gravehold. Gravehold's down to 1. Shuffle any player turn. So I'll shuffle a player card there, which I don't really want to. I don't have any gems, so Astral Cube is useless. So I should have just kept the Frozen Magmite. Oh, wait. No. I'll keep the Frozen Magmite and the Astral Cube. Oh, that's even better. That's even better. So Corruption satisfied. That's destroyed. I'm going to play the Frozen Magmite, get 2 Aether, return a gem you played this turn to my hand, reveal the top card of the turn order deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The top card is going to be the Nemesis. I don't gain a life, but I'm already knocked out, so it doesn't matter anyway. All right, and then I can play the Frozen Magmite again. So I have 4 Aether. With a 4 Aether, I'm going to get myself 2 more charges. These go in my discard pile. Draw phase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next turn, we know it's a Nemesis turn. I'm going to activate Auspex Rune. It's a much more poetic ending. And what do we draw? Engulf, resolve the most recently discarded attack card in the Nemesis discard pile. Okay, that is Obliterate. I unleash twice. That gets added. This gets shuffled. This gets added. I would have to suffer 4 damage, but I don't because of Auspex Rune. And then that goes back into the discard pile. And that is it. We've decked him out. That is not how I expected to win this at all. Auspex Rune just kind of kept us alive and kept us going. And look, I guess some people, why the heck did I do what I did? It just felt really cheap just to destroy 4 cards. I'm like, yeah, that would have been the super easy way to go. But I just thought it'd be more interesting to see how that played out if I just took the 4 damage there. But yeah, you can definitely destroy these. You can't play them, but you can destroy them and you could discard them. and there's nothing saying it when they get destroyed because of the additional rules, they get put back on the corruption deck. But that was a really ridiculous playthrough. It's very, I'm in a weird place with this channel right now because I feel like there's so many times I'm having no success when I'm like trying to practice for a playthrough, and I'm just like, you know what, forget it. I'm just getting enough film and we'll see what happens. And it just like clicks. My timing has been really, really good. This was super fun. It's fun to see Phaedraxa really come to life. My problem with her in my previous, I mean, you saw how close to death I was early. Right, that primordial fetish, that card was just everything. And I was really close to death, really close to death, really close to death, and I just had those string of primordial fetishes that I was able to get back to starting health. And then you see how these corruption cards, again, there is that one that gives you 2 life, and they can really help. Obviously Gravehold, again, it's a little bit. I gave Gravehold back the 4 there, but I mean Gravehold really only got punished because I just didn't want to destroy those 4 cards because it just felt so lame to me. I just thought it'd be a more interesting video this way, and it turned out it was. I was like, I didn't think I'd be down to 1 health on Gravehold, but a win is a win. It would have been nice if I wasn't knocked out, but again, you see all those mechanics and how that all plays out, and sometimes when I'm way ahead, I just feel like screwing around, and this is one of those times. But again, I'm very surprised that I only got Crooked Mask down to 25. It just, that part of my plan just really never fully came together, and a part of the reason is you keep getting corruption cards put back in your deck and you're just like struggling through that piece of it. But super cool. This is one of my favorite mages, to be honest with you. That power is so crazy, and the interesting thing with the Crooked Mask that I didn't really appreciate, I mean, I thought of it in my plays off camera, but really didn't appreciate it until this playthrough. It was like, you know what? Her power is better on your own turns than against when you're playing against when you're doing it on the Nemesis turns, because you just know the cards that are doing damage, you see them in your hand, you know what's coming. There's so much of a timing thing with Phaedraxa in like a co-op game against a normal Nemesis, because you just don't know, like, well, I don't know, am I going to get attacked this turn or not? The one time you do know is like if it's a power card that's about to come off, right? There was that one time where I had the 2 minions where I was like, I could prevent all that damage and get life, and that worked. But, the more significant times, I think I used that ability 4 times, and the more significant times, obviously the last turn was just kind of a goofy thing that I did there. But the 2 times, when we were playing for real, I mean, I prevented, probably 6, 7, 8 damage to me and or Gravehold, if not more, and it really, really just added up. And she's just a really cool mage in that way. So Phaedraxa, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you to people tuning in to solo playthroughs for yet another playthrough of Aeon's End. We're going to start getting into the other Nameless in the mini expansions. I have tons of mages, so I am starting to wear down a little bit and think about doing some 2 mage playthroughs so I can get more mages on the channel. I do think this game could really justify that, although, we'll see. I really like trying to feature all these Nemesis one by one, as we're just getting started out here in this is the 4th Aeon's End video that I've made. So that's that. If you're looking to see what's coming up on my channel in the upcoming weeks, you can go on my Patreon page, and there is a public post that I make at the end of every month that has an entire schedule for the month to come, and you can see what's coming up. Make sure that you tune in for everything that you want to see in solo playthroughs land. Any comments, questions, epiphanies, please put all that in the comment section below. I will get back to you as soon as I can, guaranteed. Other than that, thanks for joining me. Till next time, happy gaming.